Good morning. We'd like to give a very warm welcome to the children of the Soy Music Academy, who will give the opening performance this morning. The Academy was launched in 2012 to offer advanced Western music training previously not available in India. The program is supervised by Soy Music Director Marat Bisangeliev in the tradition of the Russian Conservatoire method. We have with us today Dhaina Rajpal on the saxophone, Samina Bandukwala on the flute, and Sahiba Singh on the piano. Please do give them a big round of applause.
I will be playing a waltz today by K. Tanaka.
I'm Dhaina Rajpal. I'll be playing Mexican Dance by Particello.
Hello, hi, my name is Sahiba Singh and I will be playing the piece The Entertainer by the American black composer Scott Joplin. And this piece was actually the theme song of the Oscar-winning movie The Sting.
I think we need to do another round of applause for the talented kids of the SOI Music Academy. Thank you. Thank you for being here this early on a Saturday morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed that arousing performance. And to that note, welcome to the SR House. My name is Asad Lalji. India is a repository for the living arts, multi-layered and multicultural. With an explosion of activity and growth in all aspects of the art and culture sector, there is a need for competent, engaged, and highly skilled leadership in the creative industries to achieve new heights. On behalf of the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, the Consulate General of Canada in Mumbai, SDA Bocconi Asia Center, Teamwork Arts, and Avid Learning, welcome to Art Orchestrators, Creating Future Leaders in the Arts, a symposium on the burgeoning need and current state and future trajectory of arts leadership and management in India's rapidly evolving arts and culture sector. For those who don't know us, we are Avid Learning, a public programming platform and the cultural arm of the SR Group. We've conducted over 1,000 programs across multiple formats like workshops, panel discussions, seminars, festivals, and connected with more than 125,000 individuals since our inception in 2009. In fact, this year we celebrate 10 years of our programming. We focus on art, culture and heritage, literature and innovation. Our curatorial focus includes presenting targeted discussions and symposiums, such as this one, that probe meta issues. Our vision is to invite more people into the conversation about the arts and culture by deepening their multicultural learning experiences through sustained partnerships and by diversifying our programming to new spaces, formats, and approaches. I'm also honored to be the curator of the Royal Opera House, Mumbai, which is not only India's only surviving opera house, but our city's very own cultural crown jewel. We reopened a little over 2.5 years ago after a hiatus of 25 years and an award-winning restoration, with a curatorial vision to support and showcase events that defy easy categorization. And with our eclectic mix of programs, we've managed to recreate the decadence of the 20th century Bombay in the 21st century Mumbai by juxtaposing the traditional with the cutting edge. I'm also delighted to be a member of FICCI's National Arts and Culture Committee. FICCI, as you know, is the largest and oldest apex business organization in India. Our goals and visions for the creative and cultural sector are very much in alignment. I have been part of the annual Smart Cities, Art Cities Conference in Delhi for the last couple of years, and we have sought to include stakeholders and thought leaders from Mumbai and the Western region into our conversations. Last August, in this very room, we convened the first Mumbai chapter Smart Cities, Art Cities Conference, which focused on emerging trends, initiatives, innovations in the arts and culture space from the Western region. In this very room again, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Culture, Government of India, Nirupama Kothuru had promised India's return to the Venice Biennale with a national pavilion. I must congratulate her on this becoming a stupendous reality, as India will be featured at the Biennale after an 8-year hiatus with a show on the 150 years of Gandhi. Thank you, Ms. Kothuru, and welcome back. So, this time we need another one, right? Today's summit fits into our larger credo of enriching and supporting the arts and culture ecosystem, not only for Mumbai, but for our nation. With Sanjoy Roy and the FICCI team, we've managed to make this a reality, and I'd like to thank them for working with us again to bring this discussion to Mumbai. Look forward to generating many ideas, recommendations in today's seminar, and hopefully these will come to fruition too. A quick thank you to our generous and visionary collaborators, the Consulate General of Canada in Mumbai, SDA Bocconi Asia Center, Teamwork Arts, SOI Music Academy, and Culture Shop for their support. And most importantly, welcome to all of you, our audience. Without you, this would not make any sense. I hope you can and will stay with us here the entire day of the symposium. We have an inspiring, power-packed day of presentations and panel discussions. We invite you to participate, ideate, debate. In case you want to stretch your legs, we have a live simulcast happening in the lobby in a conference room number 22. Please remember, take out your phones, put them on silent and start using them. Get social. Our hashtag is @AvidLearning. Our handle is @AvidLearning, and hashtag is Learning Never Stops. I'd like to now begin by inviting Dilip Chinoy, Secretary General of FICCI, to say a few words, followed by Sanjoy Roy, Managing Director of Teamwork Arts and Co-Chair FICCI Arts and Culture Division. Dilip.
Thank you, Asad. It's good to be back in this room after August, along with Ms. Nirupama Kotru, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Culture, Mr. Gagrani, Principal Secretary, Chief Minister's Office, Sanjoy. First of all, it's very interesting. Today you have two festivals. One is Gudi Parva and the other is Ugadi, and it's supposed to be New Year. So I think symbolically this is like start of a new journey for the art leadership in the country. I really want to compliment the SOI Music Academy and the, all of those who performed today. It just took me back many, many years ago. Growing up in a Parsi household in Secunderabad, I used to wake up to my cousins practicing the piano or the violin while I used to go out and play hockey. I had to come back, and perforce I had to, join the lessons with them. But I believe music is a great contributor to learning as well, and therefore I think this is a very important part of growing up. FICCI strongly believes that the art and culture has the potential to create wealth in a sustained manner, allowing people and communities across geographies, across regions in India to find new ways of overcoming hurdles. And therefore, the FICCI Creative Industries Committee, led by Sanjoy, focuses on policy work, ideation, and outlining a roadmap to take the industry to the next level. Our really joint endeavor and vision is to enable and support an ecosystem for sustainable art and culture. And its purpose is to build organizations and individuals, such as all of you present in this room, together with a single purpose: to find sustainable solutions for art and culture through a platform for corporates, civil society groups, governments, financial institutions, media, and experts. So whether it's the SDA Bocconi Asia Center, or Teamwork, or Culture Shop, or the Consulate General of Canada, and Avid Learning, it's different entities getting together to promote a single cause. India is the repository, as Asad said, of one of the best cultural practices across the world. But art and culture has a vast potential of becoming a core sector of employment generation and providing major contribution to the economy. Many, many years ago, when I started my journey in the association movement, nobody wanted to join an association. They said, what are you guys doing? Interestingly, four of us, one day, in those days, the organization that I worked for was known as AIEI. And four of us got back and he said, if you remember that, Old MacDonald had a farm, EIEIO, whatever it is. So we said, no, who will give their daughter, hand in marriage to us? Who will want to marry us if you're working in an industry association? And somehow art and having a career in art is just getting over that cusp. Because a few years ago, many young people did not think art is a career. But we believe the time has come where art can be a meaningful career. It can contribute to national development, contribute to local development, and most importantly, put India on the global map. So the young in this room have a great opportunity that many of us at the other side of the age divide had a huge challenge. Working in the art space, working in the NGO space, working in associations was not considered a very attractive job there. But now in the art space, because of many of the pioneers in this room, all of you have a great opportunity to really transform lives, not only the grassroots, but transform India as a country. You have a great opportunity today to learn from the many distinguished speakers from industry and experts who will share their knowledge and expertise through keynote addresses, panel discussions, and case studies. We have actually an international mix here. So it's something which was not available a few years ago. So once again, I want to thank all the collaborators for this, and thank Asad for convening this, and Lena and her team at FICCI to join this under the leadership of Sanjoy. And thank you all for devoting a day to take this journey forward and actually make a difference in the country. Thank you very much for having us here. And I'd like to now invite Sanjoy, co-chair of the FICCI Art and Culture Committee, to share his views.
Thank you very much, Dilip, and thank you very much for coming here. I didn't realize you were going to change your program from Johannesburg to be with us today, and this is a great honor. Nirupama Kotru, Madhu Roya, Asad, wherever you've disappeared to, ladies and gentlemen. For us, it's absolutely vital to have this conference each year in Bombay, and really a big thank you to the Avid Learning team and to SR for making this possible. Bombay has always been in many ways the heart of the art world, and it continues to be so primarily due to the kind of patronage that Bombay is able to provide to the art space. This is where the NCPA first came up. This is where now we have the Opera House, and of course the new Nita Ambani Center for the Performing Arts, which is going to open in the next couple of months. As Dilip said, you know, a big round of applause to the wonderful young people who performed earlier today. And what was really heartening is the fact that we can see how education is primary in the promotion and the propagation of the arts. Some time ago, the Prime Minister had created this big thing about, you know, the 10 best of taking India's education to a next level and creating an opportunity for 10 of the best universities to be given additional funds to be able to compete with the best in the world. The problem is, as I said to that committee once sitting in Boston, in Harvard, is that that's all very well that you'll get all of these fantastic professors and blah, 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 and you know, you'll get beautiful buildings, but who's running these places? Without administrators, how are you going to get the best? Because finally, the best universities are about research, it's about administration, it's about management, it's about inculcating the joy of learning. And all of this needs administrators. Our biggest problem in India, because we are so caught up in jugaad, which has become our daily routine backup plan, that we forget that the need for planning and organization is vital for anything and everything, including the arts sector. For too long, artists have to manage by themselves. I just walked in and Nanaji said to me that, you know, please can we get one of my exhibitions going? Why does she need to do that? We need to have enough of an ecosystem here to be able to create agents and promoters and producers, not just across the length and breadth of India, but across the length and breadth of the world. I was in Budapest last week and in Ireland 2 days ago, and to my surprise, and this is the first time I was told, so I was having a meeting with the Speaker of the Assembly in Budapest, and I was asking, you know, so why do you want us to do a festival here? Why do you want us, meaning, you know, an alien group from an alien land unknown to Budapest, why do you want us to be here? And he said something that was very interesting. He said, do you know that we need to understand from India how to manage diversity? Because the very fact that we've got 2,000 migrants who've come into our country, our entire population is feeling afraid. At which point of time I said, yes, that's because your party has basically cranked up the system and created that sense of fear. But to his credit, he said, that's the problem. And we understand that the only way we're going to be able to survive going forward, places in Europe, is going to be able to manage diversity. And in India, you all understand how to do that every day, every hour. We forget the kind of wealth and value we have here. Every 100 kilometers in India, something changes, the way we dress, our accents, what we eat, the New Years that we celebrate, the way we celebrate irrespective of the religion that we're part of. And this diversity is truly worth celebrating in so many different ways. It creates occasions, it makes your economy tick around. It was like an island, the head of the Irish city, because they don't have a government, they haven't had a government for 2 years now because of the problems between Northern Ireland and the rest of Great Britain. The city said, so how does India's economy continue to grow at the pace that it does without necessarily this very large sort of dependence like China has on an international economic scene? And I said, because in India, the basic issue is that in India we have a festival every day somewhere in the country. And that drives our economy because we're buying, we're selling, we're celebrating, we're, you know, the entire domestic production. And I think last year, Leena will remember that we had a panel on the Durga Puja numbers for West Bengal. And the report that came in was that the contribution to West Bengal's economy is 100,000 crores in that month, 1 month of celebration. Now, can you imagine if we were actually able to map this, and we're trying to work with the Ministry of Culture to be able to map the cultural industries and the creative industries across the country in terms of how many primary and secondary sources of income does this provide, how many people are involved in this. And I hope in the 2021 census, we're able to insert this, and I do hope that you'll take this up seriously in terms of making this a primary factor, because without figures, there's no way we can go to government and say, the arts does count. Each of us contributes. The Nanas of the world, or the Bachis of the world, or the Bobby Bedis, or the Gauris of the world, each of them, they make a contribution. You have to put a value to it. In the arts world itself, I think we stand to a large extent to blame. We do not put a value to what we do. We assume that this is part of the NGO sector. It's not. It is part of an economy. In the UK, 11.7% of their annual GDP comes from the creative and cultural industries. Rekha knows that. She's done a number of international work across the world. We have to stand together. We have to raise our voice. We have to make this happen. And thank you again, Madhu and Asad, for making the effort of bringing people together to be able to speak about the arts and creating policy documents. We at FICCI, this is a new initiative. It's about, I think, 4 years old or 5 years old, Leena? How? 4 years old. This is 4 years old. It came out of a cocktail party conversation that I had with the previous Secretary General, and I said, you know, you have to find a way that we can be part of the Federation of the Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, because we want to be heard and we want to be counted. And it's important, and it's the duty of each person in this room, young, old, or otherwise, to stand up and say, hey, we are part of this cultural industries or creative industry cycle, and we do make a contribution, and you must listen to our problems and issues, and you must be able to resolve some of them. We are hoping that we're going to be able to create this one window clearance system, not just in Delhi, which has happened, but also in Bombay. The papers have been sitting in the Chief Minister's office, I think, for a while, and with FICCI's help, we will, and the department, the Ministry of Culture, I hope we're going to be able to take that forward and then roll that across every city and state. And I know we at IMA, Deepak is standing at the back at the Entertainment and Event Management Association. We are too very keen to back this particular initiative and at least resolve one aspect, one stumbling block which all of us face at every point of time in terms of permissions and so on and so forth. So collectively, let's make that difference. Collectively, let's put out an array of points presented to government. Nirupama is one of our most dynamic joint secretaries. You very rarely get people like that in the Ministry of Culture. She's been in the Ministry of I&B prior to that, which is where we met about 17 years ago, I think, in Cannes when we did the first Cannes event. We're very delighted that she's here at the Ministry of Culture. Now it's our responsibility to tie her down and say that this is what We need you to deliver. Don't be shy about it. They're not doing us a favor. We are not doing them a favor. We need to make this happen. So all of you in the room, you don't have to fold your hands in front of a government officer and say, please kijiye, please paise dijiye. It's your right. It is your right as a citizen, as a contributor. So go out and do it.
Thank you, Dilip and Sanjoy. It's great to have you back in Mumbai. We should do this more often, not every 6 months. Before Ms. Kotru comes on, I'd like to request our very special guest, Principal Secretary, Chief Minister's Office, Government of Maharashtra, Mr. Bhushan Gagrani, to say a few words. Mr. Bhushan.
नमस्ते. आजच्या गुढीपाडव्याच्या शुभदिनानिमित्त सगळ्यांना माझ्यातर्फे मनपूर्वक शुभेच्छा. निरुपमाजी, दिलीप, Sanjoy, Asad, Madhuji, my colleagues here in the government and friends. I am a career bureaucrat, so I should be, constitutionally I should be ignorant about art. If not agnostic, at least ignorant. Art is all about creativity, they say. Same may not be true about the artist. Though art is about creativity, the artist must know the managerial techniques to reach out to public. And for that, he needs to use various vehicles, including one of the most important vehicle, which is called government. I'm not going into the classical debate or discourse where the relationship between the government and art is being explored and discussed at length. There is adequate literature available on that. The underpinning fact is that whether it's a historical time, whether it's a modern time, it is the duty of the government to promote, support, encourage art, not for the sake of art only, but for the sake of the government itself. And there are various reasons for that. So coming back to the creativity, as I said, creativity lies in the eyes of beholder. And the artist's creativity, though the government, as I said, is ignorant about or agnostic about creativity, sorry Nirupamaji, but that's my personal opinion, is agnostic about creativity. However, government should acquire, it's an acquired taste, government should acquire the capacity to manage and orchestrate the art sector. It is unlike any other sector which government is managing, whether it's a social sector, infrastructure sector, there are various other sectors. However, managing art is completely a different ballgame, wherein you require a personal understanding of the issue, appreciation of the issue, to protect the creative expression of the art sector, to provide institutional support. So there are various kind of facts which, unlike any other sector, the government officer or the government machinery will have to inculcate in themselves. And that is why this orchestration of art is a mutual thing between artist and government. And this kind of interventions from FICCI, I think, will go a long way in organizing this kind of understanding between these two sectors. I just wanted to raise a couple of issues as far as the administration is concerned, administration of arts is concerned. I briefly touch upon the first thing is mutual understanding between these two sectors. It is easier said than done. However, it is not impossible to achieve this. That is number one. Secondly, number two, which, of course, I am not an authority, but managing the art in the modern world, there is a big challenge I am using the word challenge not as a perception of threat or convergence or any other strings attached to it, is from the world of artificial intelligence. And how to manage the art sector in the growing AI is a major managerial challenge not before the government per se, but before the art sector as such. We know artificial intelligence has entered into music, it has entered into performing arts, it has entered into visual arts in a big way. We have many softwares. You must have known the software called Choral, where the artificial intelligence is reharmonizing the symphonies of Bach. When the first movement is ending and the artist is going from exposition to re-exposition, that is the major challenge in the symphony, where the artificial intelligence, various softwares are giving you thousands of options how to move from exposition to re-exposition. So this is a major challenge. There is a software called Painting Full, where there is a algorithm which is developed, wherein the paintings of Edward Munch can be shown in a different light altogether if he would have used the different strokes, different colors, different light composition. So these kind of things are entering into the art world. It's a major challenge, because you need to understand the artificial intelligence challenge before the art world, and whether we can converge this challenge into developing the art. This is a major issue. I think it's a growing need to understand the AI's entry into the art world. It is coming into performing arts, it is coming into the visual arts, it is coming into the literature also. This is one point. Point number two, as far as the government thing is concerned, internally we face various challenges which the artists should understand and appreciate while approaching to the government. Like for example, in government, art is only a one entity. However, in the art, there is a literature, there is a drama, there is a visual art, there is a performing art. In government, at various state government levels, these various linear departments have been managed by different departments, unfortunately, but that is the fact, because of the complexities of administration, because of the political compulsions, whatever that may be. So these linear departments have been managed by different entities. Then there is a local government, which is supposed to promote architecture, they promote to support various kind of permissions and approvals. So these kind of complexities, art world should understand, at least there should be sensitization, then only there will be a meaningful dialogue between government and the art world. So I think these are the few issues which I just wanted to raise because of this, before this enlightened crowd. And I am sure that these things, Suja has mentioned in his opening speech that there is a proposal pending with the Chief Minister's Office of Government of Maharashtra. I take this opportunity to tell you this thing, because Mumbai is known for Bollywood, and getting permission to shooting locales, obtaining permissions for any kind of performance is a big job. It's an art in itself. And we keep talking about single window because it's a very catchy word. Single window, as if there is one window and one person is sitting and just giving all the approvals. It doesn't happen like that. However, having said that, as far as the Bollywood shootings are concerned, the system is being developed. The government has already taken the decision. The software is being developed. It is being tested now. Bringing multiplicity of agencies into the system and bringing them on the board is a difficult challenge within the government itself. And this software is already being developed. It is under testing, and very soon it will be launched, so that at least the shootings are concerned, not only for Bollywood, but for any kind of film shootings, whether it's a mainstream movie or otherwise also. So those things will be facilitated. The second step, which Chief Minister is very keen, that whatever performances are happening in the state of Maharashtra, they should be given automatic approvals. I think very soon that will also happen. And I think this is a warning for me, so I will. No, no. Yeah, I know. So thank you very much for inviting me today and sharing my few views with you. So thank you very much, and I wish all the best to FICCI and to this seminar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gagrani, for those insightful remarks. And I hope you'll stay with us the whole day. At 2 o'clock, we have a session on alternate models of arts education, in which we are going to talk a lot about AI and the wonderful work that's also happening in India. And moving on to the last, but not the least, and we'd like to welcome our Joint Secretary, Ministry of Culture, Government of India, Ms. Nirupama Kothuru, to say a few words and then begin the conference.
So very happy Ugadi, Gudi Padwa, and it's also the Kashmiri New Year, so very Navre Mubarak to all of you. It's a really nice day to be here. I'm so happy to be back among friends. Asad, Sanjoy, Dilip ji, my old friends from FICCI, Leena at the back, working hard as usual, quietly. A pleasure to be here. I was here in August when we had a very nice seminar on smart cities, art cities. And today, as you know, the discussion is about creating future leaders in art. So timely. This couldn't have come at a more appropriate time because we in the ministry are also working on the same. I will tell you a bit about it, but since Sanjoy and Gagrani ji gave me some food for thought, I just wanted to mention a few more things. I have so much to say, but I'll try to keep it brief. So Sanjoy, you mentioned about Durga Puja. I just wanted to inform you, we've just filed a nomination for Durga Puja for UNESCO for 2020. Soa Rigpa is in line first. Soa Rigpa is the Tibetan system of healing. So that is our nomination for 2019, and Durga Puja comes next. And we also have this Creative City Network nomination where I would request Gagrani ji's support because Mumbai is next in line as Creative City of Film. And we need state government support in that, in making the nomination. So I request you to please take, just get after the concerned department because it's not working so far. We've been trying to get them on board. We can't miss this opportunity because we have the other creative cities. Chennai is one, and Mumbai has to get that recognition of film. It just has to come. So moving forward to the topic of today, because we are talking about creating future leaders. You see, I mean, the time has come to manage all our cultural institutions more professionally. We can't ignore that fact. We have had a number of museums, monuments in the country, and they have been managed in a fashion which served the purpose. But we have to move on because we are today competing with the world's best. Why not? And these are also, of course, very attractive tourist destinations. So why shouldn't any visitor to Mumbai or Delhi head straight for the museum first? Why do they think twice? So there's a lot to be done. There's a lot to improve. And recently we had a first ever brainstorming session under our Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts, which is one of our organizations, called Creating a Greater Cultural Economy. And we had participants from a lot of private organizations, including FICCI, CIA, National Skill Development Council, universities, etc. So, in fact, that the discussion was again around the same topic, which is the topic of discussion today, is creating future leaders. And there were a few key takeaways from that brainstorming session which we had, which I want to share with you. Is that, you need a multi-pronged approach when you're talking about creating future stakeholders in art. So the first is the child. And I was so happy that we started on such a positive note today with these lovely children presenting music, because they are our most important stakeholders. At school level, Sanjoy, I think, and Dilip ji also touched upon this. Think about it, barring a handful of schools, how many schools are concerned about selecting a good music or dance teacher? It's as shabby a selection as a sports teacher. It's somebody who just applies and you hire him. How many of them are passionate about their job? How many parents ever have thought about seriously having their kids pursue music or dance or arts? I remember when we were in school, visual arts was just one painting class. Nobody, gave any attention to it, and parents least of all. So creating that kind of awareness at a school level, what could we do about it? We have a body called Center for Cultural Resources and Training, CCRT. At one point of time, they were supposed to be as important as NCERT, because there was some thinking in the government that having culture and art in the curriculum, not as a co-curricular activity, but as a very integral part of the curriculum, that is important for a child. And psychologists have proved this through research again and again, that when you stimulate the creative part of a child's brain, he or she does better in academics as well. I mean, there is no dispute about it. So why are we restricting an art class or a music or dance to just co-curricular activities? We want to see art and culture as not just an end but a means to an end. It should be an important tool of education. So we are trying to work on that with CCRT. They are in talks with CBSE, NCRT and others. It will take time, but that is where we should go. Try to bring art and culture in the center of our curriculum, not just push it to the sidelines. It should be an integral part of the child's development, because the personality development is so important in small children. Unless they're sensitive to the arts, they will become very one-sided, unidimensional personalities, and you don't want that. That is the first level. The second is the young people, as somebody was saying, that we have never really thought of jobs in the creative cultural economy. Why not? It's high time, because the world economy, especially countries like America, about 8% of GDP comes from the creative and cultural economy. We have never really estimated it. We have never really taken stock of the number of artists. As Sanjoy again said, we have a mission on cultural mapping, where we are trying to map all the art forms and have a census of all artists. So we are working with the census, the Registrar General also, hoping that in the next census we have an artist census as well, because that's important to take stock of what we are doing. And again, we tend to work in silos, as Gagrani ji mentioned in his government. For instance, art and music and visual arts and literature, they're all working separately. But this census is important because here, for instance, there's textiles ministry, there's my ministry, there are some other ministries also which have art and craft, but they're all working separately. So at what point of time does art translate into craft? And why we can't improve the quality of what our artisans, our craftsmen and women produce? It has to be a joint movement. HRD has to be on board with us. So these discussions are happening, because it's just impossible if we keep working in silos and think that we are doing the right thing. It won't work. And the economy is never going to come. The creative and cultural economy will never develop if we just, do the work the way we have been working. So it's a huge challenge. But we are trying to have a dialogue with every ministry which is responsible for promoting art and culture in a way. So how do you generate jobs? That's another big challenge which my ministry is looking at. So one is, of course, the formal training in art and culture, which our academies do. For example, the National School of Drama, as you know, is there. And we have a lot of academies like Sangeet Natak Academy. We have, in the museum sector, we have the Institute of Archaeology, we have the National Museum Institute. But they don't produce enough graduates. We are trying to do short-term courses and internships. So we identified the gaps. We talked to all major universities and art schools in the country and tried to identify where were the gaps, where these children, for example, a good liberal arts student would love to come and work in National Museum on a summer internship. Why not? Why not expose them to that? Because when he or she formally completes their education, their graduation, they will come back. An intern is likely to come back to a job, when he or she has been exposed. So we're trying to have a lot of internships, give them a certificate, encourage them to work on ground, in a museum, in a monument of ASI. With that experience, it's more likely that they will look ahead to a formal career in the arts. So that's the other thing. Then the third challenge is art appreciation among adults. Our parents are just not interested. It's a huge battle, and we have to win it. In INB, luckily, FTII has done tremendous work last 2 years. They're doing art appreciation, film appreciation courses all over the country, right from Ladakh to Kerala. So we have to step up our game also. We're trying to organize more and more art appreciation courses. Music, dance, theatre, visual arts. Because till adults are on board, our children are not going to pick art as a career. That is for sure. We need to teach our adults before we teach our children. So I wouldn't like to take much more time. I just wanted to share my thoughts and feelings. I'm so happy that we have conferences like this, because if we don't talk, nothing will happen. And Sanjoy is right. It's your right to demand this of the government. You're the taxpayers. It's your money. So please do talk to the government. Please do give us feedback. Without feedback, we won't know whether we are going in the right direction or not. And course correction is always important. It's always welcome. So I'm really thrilled to be here, very happy. I hope you all attend the sessions. And I look forward to some good documents being generated out of these seminars, which will help all of us to promote art and culture. Thank you so much.